Good morning, peeps. Decided today to open the cabinet and show you some of the items that I use and what I use them for. Again, this is just a blank canvas, okay? A lot of different things that you can use for pouring medium. Not just for the medium, for the effects and what have you and what they're for. These are split cups. They come in many different branches. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now for these, you would fill each one up with a different color. And you can either do it in a ring, a straight, what have you. You're on your way. You can then marble. You can do whatever you want. These are open cups for open cup pours. I have them in 3 different sizes. Again, put the part down, fill it with all your colors, and then you're going to have a base, and you're going to slowly lift that up to release the paint, and that will create your pattern. Again, what you do after that is up to you. You can swipe, you can marble, whatever you want. These are bottle bottoms. Now, you can use your own and make your own out of the bottom of a water bottle. It's the same exact thing. That's what I used for over a year. I just came across a thing on Amazon that sold me all of this for one low price. So I did improvise, and you can too. Exactly the bottom of a bottle. Water bottle, 7-Up bottle, pretty much. You can also use a 2-liter or a 1-liter. The bottoms are different, and you'll get a different pattern. Now, just for instance, this one was from a bottle bottom. I then spun it out in my little pool over there. But again, you can do it many different ways. You can use marble, what have you. So that's my 3 different types that I use for that. I also use funnels. Now, a funnel pour is pretty much the same. You're going to have a base little pile there. You're going to stick your funnel on there. Add your colors. Do not lift yet. Add your colors. The mixing will happen after you decide to lift. So once your pile is down, you just boink, boink, and keep doing it until all your colors are gone. Now with that, it'll come out like in circles. Almost like a ring pour, but in circles that you controlled completely. At this point, you could do a swipe, a tilt, a marble. You can do anything. You can use a stick, which I do all the time. Just a skewer. So once I have my pour, I take my stick and I just run it through. You can do a crosshatch, whatever. And then spin it, tilt it, marble it, whatever you want. Funnels are awesome. Along the same lines with a funnel pour, it's a scoop. Now with these, you would layer your paints one at a time, and you just have it tilted a little bit so they sort of slide into each other, but they don't combine. Okay? And after you do either a funnel pour or a ring pour, you can take this and go over it and do a ribbon pour. Ribbon pours are pretty cool. Let's see. This one was an actual ring pour, which I did out of my open cup. And then I did a ribbon pour of the 3 primary colors I had used on top. They always turn out different, never the same. Now, as I said with the marble pour was just pretty much puddle pours. You take your colors and you just make little tiny piles. Then you take your marble and you drop it in the center and you just swoosh it around and around and around until you get the pattern that you like. Marble pours are pretty cool. Marble pours are pretty cool. They dry well, and they never look the same twice. This was the example of my funnel pour. When I got finished, it had a little bit too much paint on it. So again, I stuck it in my pool and spun it out to get the rest of the paint off. Another thing I like to do, if I have too much paint on a canvas after doing a pour, I will use my balloons. And what these balloons do, basically you blow them up to whatever you want, and you push down on extra paint. That removes the extra paint, wipe it off on a paper towel, and it comes out looking gorgeous. Here is a couple examples of using the balloon. That was a balloon. I hope you can see it. I did that for Hanukkah. And this one was a Christmas themed one. A little hard to see. My lighting isn't the best. I have to get one of those little lights or whatever. So that was a balloon. Now, along the same lines with that, you have your strainer pours. Again, you're going to start with a little bottle of paint. You have many different ones to choose from. I got these in with those other items. My favorite one seems to be this one because it has so many little holes on the bottom and it makes fantastic cells. This one I'm not fond of because the slots are too big, as you can see, compared to this one. I love it. This one is wonky. I have not even used it, to be honest with you. You can also, once you have that done, do whatever you want after you're done pouring. The rings. These are simple embroidery rings. I use these to make perfect circles on my painting. You can use 2 to make an eyeball. Fun. Fun. Here is a dustpan. Regular dustpan, dollar store. Along the same lines as your scoop, only it's a lot wider. So you layer your paints, and then you just go across. It's good to have a base down first. That's dry, if depending on the effect that you want. And then you just scoop it along. And what you do after that, again, is on you. The main way I measure my paint, always, and I don't know why, this is just how I started doing it, and I just continue to do it. I use 1 part paint to 3 parts of Floetrol, a little water if I need it. But what I measure in is a little silly, okay? If I'm just doing a little bit, I use my little pumpkin spoon from carving. I know. Or a shot glass if I'm doing larger. And I always mix them in. Believe it or not, why waste haste, right? So, a lot of times I'll use leftover. Water ice cups. They're washable, and I'm keeping them from the landfills. So after mixing them, the 1 part paint, 2 parts Floetrol, 1 part water. Always strain your Floetrol first. So I strain it from the jug through my funnel into my squeeze bottle. That way I always have it ready and available. Other tools that you have, obviously, are things you can make designs with. Once the paint is poured and you're ready, you can make designs. You can use these. They have all different type of teeth. I've used them a couple times. They're pretty cool. They're pretty cool. You should have a bottom layer dry first so that when you do use these tools that they don't scrape off down to the white canvas. Now my swipe tools, I have many, well, 4, which is many to me, different sizes. Obviously you're going to use this to spread the paint on your bottom, on your base. And then you're going to use this one. You're going to put your titanium white or your oxide black as your cell activator. And after you do a pour, you're just going to simply Plop it over there, and it's going to create your cells. For smaller canvases, or to make little ones in between your big ones, you're going to use a smaller one. Again, you're just going to put it on the back and swipe. For chain pulls, you can use the Mardi Gras beads from the Dollar Tree. For fine ones, you use the chain. I take them off of my fans. If we get rid of a fan, you don't have to go out and buy them. A lot of this stuff you do not have to buy. You can improvise. I'm showing you what I pretty much got all in one kit after using improvising for over a year. So the chain pulls, you would layer it. You have them all side by side. And you could put one color, 5 colors, whatever you want. You're painting your way. All the way down, leaving some for you. Now you don't want it to be longer than what you're doing. And then you sort of just make like almost like a heart. And then you pull it. Careful to let it pull at the same time, at the same speed, at the same tension. And that will give you flowers that are fantastic. Do I still have one in here? No, it's hanging on my wall. I'm not going to bring you around my whole house and show you all my walls. That would be a little crazy. So that's just a little bit of acrylic pouring 101. It's what you have, what you use, and what you create. I always have my 2 different dollar store popsicle tongue depressor. And the most important thing I have found in all of it is my torch. To touch off the bobbles, to create cells with the silicone. It's an amazing tool. It's an amazing tool. I got this for $11 at Harbor Freight. So highly recommend it. Dollar store. Dollar store. These are all Dollar Tree, but they make paintings like a professional. So you don't have to spend a lot of money. Not at all. The most important thing is to have fun. Thanks, peeps. Have a great day.